a huge bureaucracy with the Department of Corrections in general. Those things don't help keep us safe. It's the guards that help keep us safe. We've got to prioritize and use them and help them not be cutting guards rather than the other things there. So,
Sorry, you're next. Well, and I totally agree with the bureaucracy, the top heaviness is something that really needs to be dealt with. I come from a facility that had 2 assistant deputy wardens, and we had a captain for each shift. We had an athletic director that we were supposed to get rid of 20 years ago, and plus resident unit managers, assistant resident unit managers. It was unbelievable, the amount of money that was wasted on paperwork that was shuffled back and forth. I think, and the warden himself, now in St. Louis right now, they just consolidated Pine River, where I'm and Mid-Michigan. That's one warden between them. Okay, you're doing exactly what I brought up way back when. That's $100,000. Wardens make $107,000. That saved $107,000 by them consolidating the 2 facilities. There's no reason in the world why they can't do that to captains, lieutenants. They don't need a captain on 3rd shift, you know, things like that, bureaucracy. As far as do we need more, there was one thing that they enacted that the people I believe presided at was called truth in sentence. At that point, there was nothing about the, you know, you had to do your minimum sentence. Before that, there wasn't a minimum sentence. You could get out a little bit early if you had a good time. After that law went into effect, you had to do your minimum. Did I see people in the facility that didn't belong, you know, that were there for real minor crimes? Yes. I think we ought to have alternative, like tether programs, but you have to look also, they were probably, the files I saw, most of them were repeat offenders by quite a few. That's why they were in prison.
Thank you.
I think we're straight a little bit. I hear a question you didn't hear.
What is your view of our prisons? Too few, too many? How should we fund their operations?
Okay. First off, I would like to say I don't think our laws are strict enough. I don't think we need to make our laws more lenient. If we decide that something is a crime, I think there needs to be sufficient punishment there to deter people from committing the crime. As far as funding the prisons, I think we need to look at what we're doing in those prisons. Do they need unlimited computer access? Do they need more cable TV channels than I have at home? I think there are things that can be reduced and still have suitable prisons. I also think if we would outsource some of the support personnel duties, it would cause competitive bidding. And if we could get those services provided at a lower price, and you would also eliminate the state-funded retirement funds for having these state employees. So I think our prisons could be run more efficiently. I don't think we need fewer prisons. I don't think we need to make our laws more lenient. Because I think as long as the laws are strict enough to deter the crime, we will be safer. And I don't believe putting them on tethers and turning them loose keeps any of us safe.
Next.
I don't think we need to close any more prisons. I think that we need to manage what we have more efficiently, primarily by reducing administrative costs and fees and things like that. I think that there's a lot of ways there. I'm going to tell you a little story. I have a couple minutes. I'm going to use my couple minutes this time around. For my 3 children, my oldest, Jason, tall, gangly, 24 years downtown Clare, playing a pickup game, basketball game, by a kid who has been in and out of the system for years. This kid was 17 maybe, my son. He beat him up so bad that he lost consciousness. 4 bones in his face were broken. And he has permanent numbness on his face. This is a very personal, very private issue for me. Something that I don't believe letting people out on tethers, early releases, and, loosening up our punishments for the criminals that need to be in these prisons is any way to keep our babies safe. And that is something that I would fight very hard for, to make sure that our babies do stay safe. That's
By HSUS for animal care legislation, and we'll start with Jason.
Let me look at my notes here. I took a lot of meticulous notes.
I'll repeat the question.
Sure.
But what is your view of the recent movement by HSUS for animal care legislation?
I believe that the animal care legislation is very important, obviously, to make sure that proper conditions exist, that everything is healthy, everything's safe, everything is environmentally well, that it's not harmful to all aspects of the whole farming and agriculture community. I believe that the use of existing protocols that are in place, the fact that the farmers and animal caretakers basically set up their own standards and use them and follow them are what we should be going by. I don't see a need to be switching that over to anything. I don't like to see a lot of regulation unless it's absolutely necessary. There's times when it should be, and I believe that the agricultural community has shown responsibility in governing themselves. They take pride in this state, and so there's not a need to switch those standards over as far as that. I believe that they can govern themselves, they are the experts, and it would only be harmful to them if they were to try and let other things happen. So I think that they govern themselves well, as a lot of organizations can do when it comes down to the livelihood, so I don't think that there's a reason to go ahead and do it.
I think it's important that everyone realize that Humane Society of the United States is not your local Humane Society. And although they talk in their ads about taking care of puppies and kittens and your pets, it's not what they do. Less than 1% of the money that they spend goes towards helping puppies and kittens. And they are out